Today I thought we would talk about these really cool windows that you find on the MDC-USA trailers, a little bit of the feature set of them and why you might like them, but also the maintenance and care, because you do want to be mindful. They have a lot of value, a lot of features, but you want to take care of them as well. First up, let's just look at how these windows operate. Now we do have latches that latch from the inside. I'll show you inside some of the latching scenarios, if you will, but this one catches with the clicks. I hope my microphone is picking that up. Now the nice thing about the way these things open is you can have a lot of airflow, and if there's a downward rain, then you can still have the airflow and the rain might not get in. Now if you have some wind or some side airflow or what have you, you might have to have it lower or whatnot. We'll talk about that again with the settings on these latches. But take a look while I have this set up kind of awning style, is look how thick it is. One of the features that I really like about windows constructed like this is that it's pretty much a dual pane scenario. You have a layer on the outside and a layer on the inside separated by a layer of air or gas on the inside. So it's, I would say my fingers, though they are right across from each other, they're about an inch apart, and I can actually compress it a little bit. As long as there is that layer of air, you're getting extra added thermal value or insulative value out of them. They're also really good about being pretty impact resistant. Now I'm not going to say that they are impact proof or crack proof, but they're more impact resistant than a standard pane style glass or other things that you might find on some RVs. So that's a nice little bit. So the awning, the way it opens, the way it latches, the fact that it's dual pane and has some thermal value, those are things I like about it. But follow me inside and let's show you a little bit more about how they work before we jump into some of the care and maintenance that you'll want to do on this style window. Follow me. Okay, so we are now inside and we're by another one of these windows, and these are the latches I was telling you about. They lock, and it of course does the whole awning style opening real easy with just a push and some clicks. Now while I have this open, you'll notice that I passed the click too far, that you have a screen that you can pull down to keep the bugs out. You have a blackout shade that you can pull up from the bottom, and if you wanted to, you could have some blackout and some screen and just click those together. So that's pretty handy. What I would like you to see from the inside here as well is that if you need some airflow, but you don't really need these open, there is a little spot in between fully closed and latched, which would be right there, and open, which would be here. You can see how I can, there we go, put it right in the middle. I'll show you on all of them. This is in that middle spot, and what that allows for is a bit of an air gap all the way around, so you can have some ventilation. You can do that with all of these windows around this trailer and get some inflow and outflow of air naturally without much chance of this thing blowing around or too much. So it's cool. Screen, blackout shade, a little bit of airflow. I will caution you, as we're talking a little bit about maintenance here next, that you never want to travel down the road with these levers, these latches, in that middle position, because just enough air can go whipping through here if you're traveling down the highway and really pull on this window and cause some damage or cause it to pull off. You do want to have these latches all the way secured for travel. Let's go back outside and talk about some of the care for these windows, because you're going to be hitting some really cool pathways, but you're going to be presented with some road debris and dust and dirt and mud, muck, birds, bats, you name it. So let's talk about how to maintain them. I've talked a little bit about the features of these windows, all the pros, but there is one thing I want you to be mindful of. If you're going to have anything in the negative category, it's the fact that this is not in fact glass, which means that it is a little bit softer material. It is a little bit more prone to scratching and scraping and maybe even chemical etching depending on how you maintain these windows. So I'm going to caution you on how you clean these. And then we'll talk about the seals as well. So being that it is basically a petrochemically made substance, it will react to cleaners. So the instructions that come with these windows and that the manufacturers of these windows give out there is use very, very, very mild detergents. Think of maybe the most mild Dawn dish soap out there, or something even more mild. The enemy that you're going to face here is going to be those two things. Any little bit of grit that you rub up against this while you're wiping it, that's going to be a problem, because it will create, at very least, those little spider web kind of swirly things. Worse than that, if you have anything of more grit, then you're really going to scrape it up. Now, that's your first enemy. So we're going to use something like a very, very soft and clean microfiber cloth, or a very soft and clean kind of chamois leather. But even before you do that, you might want to spray this off with some fresh, clean water and get as much of that dust and dirt and salt, if you've been traveling in a salty area, off of here before you do any attempt at wiping it. As far as chemicals go, again, use a super mild detergent. I would not use anything like Windex or something ammonia based or even alcohol based. I would keep it very, very simple. That's inside and out. That's bar none it. Now I'm going to click this up and I'm going to show you one more thing I would keep in mind. These seals are so important to keeping so many things out or in that you want. So let's talk about, you want to keep debris out and dust from, well, the more pliable these seals remain for as long as they can, the better seal you get. It's better for keeping rain out and wind out. And it just helps out with the thermal aspect as well. So you might, every now and then, as you're checking other seals on your trailer, come up here with something that can kind of revitalize those seals. They make products out there, but I again would caution you to keep it simple. I wouldn't use something that's meant to do much penetrating from a chemical standpoint, but just something that is maybe a smidge more on the wax-based side to make sure that it isn't reacting with this. Now, if you close this, it's not like that seal is going to be in an area where, let's get that all the way down, where you're going to be looking out of anyways, okay? It's obviously going to just kind of disappear, but that doesn't mean you want any kind of chemical etching right around the edge anyway. So that's just it. That's as far as I can say. To keep it clean, watch for grit, watch for chemicals, and maintain those seals, and you're going to get a lot of use. I still prefer these over your standard windows for various reasons. Weight savings, thermal value, some impact resistance, and just the functionality in general. You can find windows like this on all the MDC-USA trailers, but there are quite a few other manufacturers that have figured it out as well. I'm Clint from Princess Craft RV. This has been a pleasure talking about these really cool windows with you today, and we will see you next time.